Selamat siang teman-teman. Good afternoon. Panas hari ini, hari Jumat tanggal 8 bulan 7. Nggak kebalikan ya kan, Juli. Oke. Gimana kabarnya teman-teman? Sehat ya semua ya. Hari Jumat ya kan, habis Jumatan pasti pada ngantuk. Ya, siang ini seperti biasa kita lanjutin lagi gameplaynya ya, Tales of Arise untuk kali ini part 10 ya, dimana Sion udah ngomong semua ya kan, yang kemarin diam-diam aja sudah dia ngomong si Sion kalau misalnya Thor-nya itu hilang ya kan, dia juga ikut mati, terus dunia juga jadi gelap katanya. Nah di sini Alpen sama yang lain pengen ngelawan takdir yang dilihat sama si Sion, ya kan? Apakah bisa? Kita lihat aja nanti. Oke, kita lanjutin aja. Untuk kali ini kita mau ke luar angkasa ya, ke Lenegis, pakai pesawat yang udah ada nih di sini nih, yang katanya udah dipanasin, dipanasin kayak motor sama mobil ya. Ya, langsung aja part 10 Tales of Arise. Let's go.
Well, it's the moment of truth.
This lady better hold together once we're up in the air.
La, don't say that! You're going to jinx us!
Speaking of which, Alphen, this bucket of bolts got a name?
A name? You know, I'm not sure she ever had one. I never really thought about it.
Well, after all the trouble we went through to find her, we should give her one, right? I was thinking something like...
Fall Knights.
Huh?
It means owl in the ancient tongue. Literally, the one drawn to the skies.
I like it. Sounds perfect for our little escapade.
Not sure I'm completely convinced, but... well, it's as good a name as any. From now on, she'll be known as the Fall Knights.
Okay, people. We have two goals. First, we need to get to Lenegis and make the Renans finally leave Dana alone. And then, we need to figure out the truth behind Shion's thorns and find a way to save her. Sound good? All right, and let's go.
Iya, langsung dikasih nama pesawatnya ya kan. Ready to take off.
You know, I can still hardly believe it.
Believe what?
Bisa keluar angkasa.
I mean, just look at it. The whole of existence, crammed inside a tiny frame.
Now that you mention it, I guess you're right. It does look more like a painting than a living, breathing world.
From up here, all the struggles we've been through feel so insignificant.
Nothing like realizing how small you are to put everything into perspective. Kinda makes the differences between the Renans and the Danans feel pretty small too, huh?
How much longer until we reach Lenegis?
There are better ways to use your time than napping. We should take a moment to familiarize ourselves with the facilities on board before arrival.
Good idea. The starship may end up serving as our base of operations once we're down there. Think you'll be all right with the controls?
You mean the one set to automatic pilot? I dare say I'll manage. I'm basically just here to supervise.
In that case,
Yang
she's
jadi
all yours.
pilotnya si Doalim.
Everything okay, Shion? You seem a little different.
Different. We'll be going to Lenegis soon.
This must feel like a homecoming of sorts to you, huh? What was life on Lenegis like back then? You know, before you came to Dana.
Let's just say, I don't have many happy memories. I've had thorns my whole life, for as long as I can remember. They called it treatment, but in truth, they were just using me as a guinea pig for their research.
You mean, they experimented on you?
That's right. All I was to them was a riddle to solve. They poked and prodded me, trying to figure out what triggered my thorns or changed the form they took. Day in and day out, every single day, one test after another. I'm still surprised they didn't try to dissect me. The look they gave me whenever one of them touched my skin. How could I forget it? Reeling from the pain, like I was a monster or something. Some existence, huh? A blight on any I touched. Helplessly complicit in their pain. I thought things couldn't get any worse. But then they did. I started to have nightmares, visions of the coming apocalypse. Is it any wonder I lacked a cheery disposition? Unable to so much as touch another soul. Loneliness was my best friend. Sure, I survived, but with the knowledge that one day I'd be swallowed up by oblivion. And that's when it hit me. If I was going to die, then it should mean something. If I have to sacrifice myself to save the world, so be it.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you relive that.
No, it's fine. I'm in a much better place now.
You say it's your destiny to die so that others can live. But why not the other way around? Why shouldn't we be the ones dying to save you?
Are you crazy? Why would you sacrifice your life for...
That's exactly my point. Why should you have to give up your life just because you drew the short straw in the destiny stakes? How is that even right? It's that logic that's used to justify slavery, as if some of us were just meant to be sacrificed. This struggle was never about saving only ourselves. But that doesn't mean we have to give up our own lives to save everyone else's either. If we're doing this to protect people, if we're doing this to save the world from destruction, then that has to include saving each other as well.
A world free of sacrifice. That's what you've been fighting for all along, isn't it?
Not just me. We're in this together, remember? This fight is yours too, Xion. If we're going to win, everyone has to win. There can be no room for losers in this fight. Now I see it. The true nature of our struggle.
A victory without losers. But that means that a Danon victory over Rena can't be the end. Do you think we can pull it off?
You bet we can pull it off. We have to. It's the only hope we have of things ever changing.
Yeah, you're right. No one's ever changed the future without aiming for the stars. We can do this. Together.
Is something wrong?
No. I was merely thinking how it had been 7 years, that's all.
You mean since you became a lord and left Lenegis? I guess even someone like you can get homesick, huh?
I am as prone to sentimentality as any other. Tell me, though. You too have a history with Lenegis. A traumatic one, no less. This trip will probably mean facing up to some difficult emotions. Doesn't that frighten you?
Well, it is a place where I took the lives of countless people. I'd be lying if I said I hadn't thought about it. But I can't keep running forever. The past is what it is. There's no changing that. But the future's what we make it.
I see.
Dohalim?
Forgive me. I was wrong to pry. We have more pressing matters to address. Come back and speak to me when you finish looking around the ship.
Jadi Dohalim homesick juga hitungannya walaupun tetap kan jadi lord di sini.
Hey, Alvin, listen to this! So Law and I were just talking and...
Hey, shut up!
What's got Law all flustered?
Only that he's afraid of flying, the big baby. And after all that fuss he made about naming the ship, too.
Hey, I never said I was scared. I just think it's, you know, a little unsettling how we're going to be cruising through space in a glorified tin can. That's all.
It's a starship, dummy. That's what it's supposed to do. I don't think there's anything strange about it.
Well, maybe you're the one with the problem then.
Guys. I'm no expert, but I think we can trust Renan technology. It got me to Dana in one piece, remember?
Oh, that's a good point. If you think so, Alphen, it must be okay. Don't you agree, Law?
Hard to argue with that, seeing how you hitched a ride in one of these things before, Alphen. It's just wrong, okay?
Kayaknya takut kecelakaan doang si Law ini. Siapa yang belum? Kisara. Jangan bilang mabok juga. Oh bukan.
You okay?
Ini kapsulnya
Feeling
kayaknya.
airsick?
Actually, now that you mention it, not at all. These starships are a remarkably smooth ride, all things considered. Nothing like being at sea, thank goodness.
Glad to hear it. That device there caught your eye, huh?
I was just wondering what it is. It looks big enough to fit a person inside of it.
It's a healing pod. It fixes injuries and illnesses.
Oh, you don't say. That should definitely come in handy if any of us get injured while we're down
Oh,
there.
kirain yang deep sleep itu.
Alphen? Was it something I said?
No, I was just thinking back to when I escaped Lenegis, that's all. What with the ceremony and losing control, I was a total mess. Naori laid me inside here.
So, you're saying you got in this thing straight after escaping? Would that mean
Oh iya,
you were
betul
inside
aja
for
berarti.
300 years?
Yes.
Yang pas dia
that
tidur
sounds
di
crazy,
situ.
I know. But don't even ask me why I stayed asleep all that time.
That's definitely quite some lie-in, all right. But still, whether you meant to or not, I sure am glad that it's this century that you finally woke up in.
What do you mean?
With the amount of fighting we've done, we would have never made it this far without you. And not only that, but... Alphen, can you recall back to what it is that I said to you? Back when we left Menancia? About the dream of coexistence, and needing to learn what it entailed?
Of course. That's why you came with us, right? To learn what you couldn't at home.
Even in that time, I was well aware that what I was living was a lie. But at the same time, I also felt really compelled to fulfill my brother's wishes. I'll always remember him fondly. But the coexistence we're fighting for isn't for him. It's for people now, and those still to come. The world's bigger than just Menancia. My dream is for all Danans, wherever they might be, to be free. If I've learned anything on this journey, it's that. And the one who brought me along was you, Alphen. I'll forever be grateful to you.
Well, we're not out of this forest just yet. You should probably save your thanks. At least, until we've dealt with the Red Woman.
I know. But
Iya.
whatever we find when
Gua
we
sampai
get down
lupa
there,
soal
I'm
Red Woman.
through looking the other way.
Kisara.
Probably getting a little ahead of myself, huh? Let's take things one step at a time.
Ini apa? Lift.
Is everyone about ready? We'll soon be making preparations to land.
Before we
Oh,
do
sudah
that,
mau.
just what
Ano aja.
exactly should we expect when we get down there?
Kisara has a point. Now that I think of it, I don't know the first thing about Lenegis.
I'd like to hear more too. It's been centuries since I was last there, and they didn't exactly give me the grand tour.
Very well. First and foremost, Lenegis was the base of operations in charge of the crown contest on Dana. Of course, it also happens to be a city in its own right, complete with its own independent society. Its social structure is based on a strict hierarchy. Put simply, the strength of an individual's astral arts carries great weight.
Enough to determine someone's social rank, you mean? But astral arts are innate, right? So people's positions are fixed at birth.
They can be honed with the right training, and there are admittedly other factors at play. But yes, that's basically the gist. As a result, family lines that churn out lords and their contenders wield disproportionate influence, and those lineages are treated as nobility.
Those capable of only weak astral arts are effectively an underclass, denied the right to descend to Dana even if they wanted to. Still, even the lowest rung on the Renin ladder is considered superior to being a Danan. Keep that in mind down there.
Thanks for the warning. As a lord, Dohalim must have been pretty high up in the pecking order, right? What about you, Shion?
Come on, you've seen her skill with astral arts. You really need to ask?
Fair point.
On arts alone, you're right. I'd have been sitting pretty. But you're forgetting my thorns. They weren't exactly an invitation to high society.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's refreshing to be around someone who says what they're thinking. Life's less complicated that way.
Jeez, give backhanded compliments much?
Wait a second. Are you? He is! Law's blushing!
I am not!
Of course, separating people into castes based on something arbitrary like arts is discrimination at its worst. As if such simplistic criteria could ever be a measure of someone's worth.
So this red woman, are we expecting to find her on Lenegis?
I would wager so.
Harusnya iya sih,
Lenegis is too
harusnya
deeply
ketemu.
involved in all this to discard the possibility. Chances
Soalnya
are
kan
she's also
diaktifinnya
connected to
pas
the Renis
Red
Alma
Woman-nya
being
hilang
stolen from
kan.
us in Pelegion.
If the Renis
Jadi
Alma is being
kemungkinan
used to exploit Dana,
terus juga apa
we need to take it
arena
back at
apa
all costs.
That red woman's
yang
got a lot to
core-nya
answer
itu.
for.
Itu kan di bawah
Just as
yang
well
Red
I've got a ton of
Woman
questions.
itu kan.
We're about to land. The descent could be a little bumpy, so brace yourselves.
If there are clues about your thorns out there, Shion, we'll find them.
Waktunya mendarat.
There's no one here. I wasn't expecting a welcome mat, but still.
Lenegis's infrastructure is largely automated. Besides, people won't be expecting incoming traffic while the crown contest is still underway.
Oh, berarti Lenegis ini hitungannya bukan
Do you think anyone
rumahnya
realizes that we're
Renan.
here?
Jatuhnya kayak
We
lebih
may not have
kayak
received a royal
satelit
welcome,
gitu, tapi
but I doubt our
satelitnya
entrance went
dipakai
unnoticed.
untuk
Don't let
kontes
your guard
Lord
down.
itu. Crown Contest.
I really hope we don't have to fight anybody while we're here.
So now what? We've come all this way on a hunch that this red woman is here, right? And if we're lucky, the Renis Alma too. Any idea where we should start looking?
Itu
There is an
keliling
area of
aja.
the city that is accessible only to the sovereigns, known as the Forbidden Zone. That seems as good a place as any for us to start.
Forbidden? What are they hiding?
I don't know, hence my desire to find out. Fortunately, we just so happen to have a sovereign in our midst.
Iya.
In any case, changing the shape of a huge structure such as Lenegis would have required an immense source of power.
Then you think that source might have been the Renis Alma?
Precisely. Alphen said that he remembered the Renis Alma being used in the spirit channeling ceremony 3 centuries ago. Whatever the ceremony's purpose, if preparations are underway for it to be held once more, then the Renis Alma might be in the same place as last time, possibly together with the Red Woman. Hiding something of that worth in the residential quarters would only court trouble. In which case...
It stands to reason we should be looking somewhere normally out of bounds. Is that it?
Indeed.
But it's been over 300 years since I was made a sovereign. You can't seriously think I'll be able to waltz right into the place after all this
Kan
time.
Sovereign bukan cuma dia kan.
There's only one way to find out. If there's even a chance you can get us in, I say we give it a shot.
Shion's right. Who knows? We might even find a clue to her thorns while we're at it.
All right. It's not like we're swimming in leads, so let's try to track down the Forbidden Zone. Beyond that wall lies a city full of Renans. The capital city where Shion and Dohalim used to live, no less. Who knows what...
Kira-kira ada monsternya nggak? Lainnya ada orang-orangnya. Lenegis. Kota kok dalamnya bukan cuma sekedar satelit tok.
What in the world?
This being Renin territory, I was prepared for a lot of things to look different. But this is a bit more than I anticipated.
The very foundations of the city have shifted. What could have caused this?
When Lenegis changed shape, it must have had an effect on the interior too.
Maybe when they sent the wedge down to Dana?
But they wouldn't move around the places where people live. These are their homes, right?
I would think the citizens themselves didn't have much say in the matter. Either way, locating the Forbidden Zone just became that much trickier.
Oh, jadi
Dohalim?
berubah tempatnya kan.
Is that you?
Ada yang kenal dong.
Avakir, I'm glad to see you're well.
So it is you! But why are you here? Shouldn't you be down on Dana participating in the crown contest? And these people!
So you haven't heard what happened on Dana then?
Heard what?
Someone you know?
An old friend.
Hey, Dohalim, don't tell me you've started keeping company with...
They're with me. More importantly, what's happened here?
I'm really not sure. The city's foundations began to shift without warning, and now everything looks like this. We're all waiting for the Sovereign to tell us what's happening, but so far...
Avakir, listen to me. We're looking for the Forbidden Zone. Do you have any idea where we might find it?
The Forbidden Zone? What business could you possibly have there?
Trust me. The less you know, the better.
You're just the same as ever. I wish I could help, but what with the changed topography, I can barely locate my own home. Let alone the Forbidden Zone.
Very well. It looks like we'll have to find the way there ourselves.
Have you seen Faria yet?
Varias ya?
No.
I see. Well, nothing much has changed with her. If anything, she's probably even more...
Kayaknya aku tahu deh Varia yang
I can well imagine.
yang cewek yang cowoknya dibunuh
Why did
itu
you
kan.
come back?
Yang pas crown contest.
You know it can only result in pain for you both.
I've no doubt of that.
You really are the same as ever. Fine, I understand. Just don't say I didn't warn you. And take care of yourself. Okay, Doe?
So who's Faria?
Law?
If what Avakir said is true,
Lawannya
it would
plus
seem the people of
terus.
Lenegis are being kept in the dark about what's happening down on Dana.
They seem to be just as clueless about what's going on up here in their own world. Despite the fact that it's actually here that the wedge originally came from.
We need more information. Let's talk to the citizens, see what we can find out.
While we're at it, we can ask them about the Red Woman, too.
And don't forget about finding the way to the Forbidden Zone either.
Let's leave the talking to Shion. We can't have a bunch of Danans poking their noses around.
Good idea. I think that's for the best.
I shall assist.
You sure?
Being a lord on Lenegis has its advantages.
Right. Then we'll leave it to you two.
Oke, kita
Danans
cek
among us.
mapnya dulu. Banyak ya?
Should probably keep our heads down.
What if people freak out?
I shall explain it away by saying I'm leading you.
What are we, dogs?
Everything will be okay now.
I know the basics of healing arts, but my skills pale in comparison.
Oh, dear me. What an unspeakable mess this has all become. Just look at the state of our city. Even the Zugals have stopped heeding our commands.
Oh, ada
Whatever did
Zugel.
we do to deserve this?
You really have no clue what might have caused this?
Would that I have. Alas, there was no warning, no prior decree. His Highness must have deemed it unnecessary for us to know. We have no choice but to grin and bear it. But do my eyes deceive me? Could I really be standing in the presence of his lordship, Dohalim of the House Ilkaris? I believed he was on Dana.
Your eyes do not deceive you. It is I, one and the same. I have returned to fulfill a special duty, the details of which I cannot divulge.
As your lordship wishes. First Lenegis mutates beyond recognition, now this unexpected visit. The Sovereign's plans are inscrutable indeed. The Ilkaris house has produced a great many lords over the centuries. I shall be praying for your victory in the latest crown contest.
Your good wishes do me an honor.
But wait, di sini ada apa? Kita cek dulu. Strawberry.
Your lordship! Oh, what a great honor it is to finally meet you. I descended to Dana during the last crown contest also. Alas, when the contender I was backing failed to clinch the title, I returned. I witnessed the deaths of so many slaves.
Indeed.
Sorry to interrupt, but we're looking for a woman dressed all in red. Have you seen anyone of that description?
All red, eh? No, I can't say I remember anyone like that. I imagine she'd stand out somewhat, too.
Yeah. What about down on Dana during the crown contest? You didn't see anyone like that hanging around the lord you were serving?
What's with all these questions? I've never seen her, okay? Not recently or otherwise. Why do you want to find her anyway?
Never mind. Forget I asked. Sorry to take up your time.
Dia orang ini ke ini juga ternyata ke
What could be so important?
Dana,
It's worth
ke bawah,
destroying people's
ke bumi.
livelihoods and homes in the process. It's just unbelievable. Uprooting an entire city as if it were mere building blocks. Someone's got an awful lot of questions to answer.
From how it looks, they must be siphoning off astral energy from Dana, and then sending it to Rena.
But why do all this? What for? Surely they can't be using all that energy for the crown contest.
Whatever their purpose, disrupting their siphoning process alone won't be sufficient. Not while we still don't know what their endgame is.
He's right. We need to stop this from happening ever again.
This Forbidden Zone might be where we find some answers, right? So what are we waiting for? Let's get moving!
You heard him. We don't have time to stop and chat. Let's move.
So, I've been wondering, do you think when Lenegis was built, it was even made with people living here in mind?
What do you mean?
Well, none of this happened by coincidence, right? They must have designed it to transform like this. But then, if they knew people were going to live here, you'd think they would have taken that into consideration, to avoid all this chaos.
Ordinarily, yes. You'd think so. Trust me, as far as we were concerned, Lenegis was our home, nothing more. No one knew about all this. It makes you wonder whether the city was just built on as an afterthought. But if so, to what exactly?
Sorry. That probably sounded weird, huh?
Not at all. Sometimes it takes an outsider's eye to help you notice what you've been missing all along. This place is a mystery, that's for sure. Something tells me we'll find answers where we're going, though.
Yeah, you're right, Shion. I'm sure we will.
Is everything okay? You look a little lost.
Oh, yes. I can't seem to find my way home, is all. I was just about to make my umpteenth attempt at a new route.
I was hoping to head this way myself. The situation is a real pain, huh?
I suppose the Sovereign knows best. I daren't stay here too long, though. A lower caste can only linger around these parts for so long before I outstay my welcome. I was hoping to avoid it, but maybe I'll have to go that way after all.
You mean you know another way round?
Lord Dohalim Ilkaris! But how? Last I heard, you
Terkenal
were in
dong dia.
Dana competing in the crown contest.
Yes, strange, isn't it? If you know another route, we'd be grateful if you could tell us.
But of course. Please forgive me. There's a wall that sprung up ahead of here, with what looks to be an entrance in it. I thought maybe it was a passageway between the different quarters, but I've no way of knowing for sure.
It's worth investigating, at least. I shall go and assess the situation. In the meantime, wait for me here. If it looks safe, I'll come and let you know.
You'd really do that for me? A lord troubling himself for someone of my lowly status?
Our lot in life is of little consequence. We are both Renin, first and foremost.
Oh, why yes, my lord. Thank you.
Well, we've canvassed the city for information. What do you think?
No one has the faintest idea what's happened to the city after all. They haven't heard the news about the crown contest either.
You'd think that info would easily find its way up here. Has it always been like that?
Not to this extent. Which would indicate that something's suppressing the truth. That Lenegis is under some kind of control.
Given everything that's happened to their city, the people here seem weirdly okay with it all.
Yeah. That one guy even said Zoogle had stopped listening to him. If that's true, these people are in big trouble.
Everything that happens here is attributed to the Sovereign's will. It's the way people have been conditioned. Their belief runs deep. Nothing happens devoid of a reason. To them, it's all part of the Sovereign's grand plan.
The Sovereign's plan. There is one thing I'm still not sure about. Just who is this person ruling over
Sama,
Lenegis?
gue juga masih
The Sovereign,
bertanya-tanya
of
itu.
course. He rules from Rena while presiding over both Rena and Lenegis.
Without the lords or anyone in the middle doing his dirty work? Isn't Rena at least the same size as Dana? That's a pretty big dominion for one person to rule over. I would have thought ruling Lenegis alone would be difficult enough.
The points you make are valid, though I confess I'd never given it much thought before. Here, the Sovereign's total authority is as natural as night turning to day. Come to think of it, I know nothing of the nature of how Rena itself is. Shion, have you ever been... No, forgive me. Have you met or crossed paths with, or even heard of someone who's actually made a visit to the homeland?
No, I haven't.
Neither have I. In which case, I would imagine that... But no, surely not. Can it really be that no citizen of Lenegis has ever been there?
Hold up, what are you getting at, Dohalim?
Assuming what I believe to be correct, it's possible that no one on Lenegis has ever laid eyes on the actual Renin homeworld itself. No one but the Sovereign, that is.
But what about trade and communication? There's got to be a flow back and forth, surely.
Not if the Sovereign is imposing his will on Lenegis single-handedly. It could be a one-way street.
But I thought you said that the Sovereign's all the way over on Rena. If that's the case, can he really rule directly over Lenegis from so far away? What if something were to happen to the city, like now?
I'm beginning to wonder what the nature of this Sovereign even is. Alphen said he was forced into the role, right? Just before the ceremony. But Sovereign is also the title given to the almighty Renin ruler. So which one is it?
Whoever wins the crown contest inherits the throne from his or her predecessor, before becoming ruler over all of Rena and Lenegis. Thereafter, that individual is known as the Sovereign. Though, it would appear that the current ruler has gone silent. As for how Volron factors into all this, at this point, I no longer know what to believe.
3 centuries ago, I became the sovereign here on Lenegis. No, not just became, I was forced to. Me, a Danon. 300 years later, we cross paths with Volron, who also bears the Sovereign's crest. That's not the only thing we have in common. We both became sovereign without winning the crown contest.
Do you think Volron was made sovereign for the same reason? Because of that ceremony?
I can't say for sure.
Throne contest itu
It
jadi
certainly
dari
sounds
5
like
lord itu kayaknya ada
But that
tujuan
would mean
gitu.
that 2 sovereigns would
Terus
need to
bakal
exist at any
dijadiin
one time.
sovereign
One whose job it is to
sebenarnya.
rule, and the other for ceremonial purposes. We never
Tapi
did see
si
Volron's body
Voran,
back in Ganatheros.
Voran sama si
Is
Alpet
a new
sama
ceremony
sekali
underway
nggak
with
pernah ikut
Volron
crown
at its center this
contest.
time? Could that be what's causing all this strange activity here?
Wait a second. You don't think Volron and the Red Woman are working together, do you? The ceremony can't go forward without the Renis Alma, the same one that the Red Woman stole.
There's something else the ceremony needs. A maiden. And unless there's another one out there aside from me...
Questions, questions, and yet more questions. Ones that it seems will remain unanswered until we can establish the Sovereign's identity.
If the Forbidden Zone really is off-limits to everyone but the Sovereign, that seems as good a place as any to start. For the sake of liberating Dana, too.
Then it's decided. That's where we need to go.
One of the citizens mentioned a passage that she thought might lead to another section of the city. It could point us in the right direction. Let's go find it.
Okay, let's go.
With nobody left to run the show, I wonder what the people here are supposed to do. I mean, their sovereigns up on the Renin homeworld, and all their lords were sent to Dana.
But Dohalim was a lord, right?
Only current acting lords have power. Renin society is quite strict about such matters.
Even if the other lords were still around, I doubt they'd be able to do much about the situation.
I wonder what they'd think if they were here to see Lenegis now. Balsif, Ganabelt, Almadria, and Volron. Now that I think of it, aside from Dohalim, we know next to nothing about the other lords.
Well, yeah, why would we? To us Danans, they were just enemies we needed to overthrow. Nothing more.
I know. But seeing Renins in their own city, going about their day-to-day lives, it gets you thinking.
It feels strange to imagine the lords living here too, you mean?
Yeah, a little.
If you're that curious about them, why not try inquiring with some of the locals? Every lord in their household has their share of supporters here on Lenegis. And luckily for us, the people here are unaware of the events on Dana, which means they should be more inclined to talk to us.
Renan and Dayror. Harus ngobrol dulu, nanti aja lah. Quest dulu.
This area doesn't look as badly damaged as that other district we went through.
Indeed, the effects of Lenegis's transformation appear to be less pronounced here. Or, viewed another way, this area was simply luckier.
There's something I just don't get.
What is it?
The crown contest itself has always gone ahead as planned, right? In which case, the current sovereign of Rena should be whoever it was that won the previous contest.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, who was it then?
Hanfricht Milgras, the former lord of Cislodia, if memory serves.
So then this Hanfricht whatchamacallem, he's the current ruler of Rena?
The last I heard, yes. Though, admittedly, I haven't actually seen him since the end of the previous contest.
You're saying that ever since becoming sovereign, he's never actually shown himself on Lenegis?
I guess over holocom maybe, but not in the flesh. Same thing goes for the sovereign that came before him.
Now that you mention it, I don't recall anyone ever visiting Lenegis from the motherland, sovereign or otherwise.
And that never struck you as a little bit odd?
When you live here, it's as if you're conditioned not to notice all these strange quirks and discrepancies. The question is then, by whom? And to what end?
A new Renis Alma is supposedly created to coincide with every crown contest, meaning each victor is awarded their very own. In other words, if that's true, there should be as many of the things out there as there have been contests.
True, but going on what we witnessed in Pelagian, it didn't look like the sort of thing that could be made to order. But if even the victor's speeches have been part of some grand deception, then where are they? Quite frankly, I'm not even sure what to believe anymore.
You and me both. Though we are Renin by blood, neither of us even knew that such a thing as a Dark Master Core existed, remember?
With any luck, the Forbidden Zone might give us some answers.
No use standing around here chatting about it then. Let's get a move on.
Jadi yang core darkness yang dia pegang si Red Woman kan nggak ada yang tahu. Wait, kita keliling sedikit. Renan sekalipun nggak tahu kalau dark itu ada. Karena kan dari Crown Contest sendiri kan 5 elemen kan. Nggak termasuk light sama darkness.
Doe?
Faria.
Varia? Isn't that the person that Avakir guy was...
But why are you here?
Kan bener kan?
Wait. Don't tell me you've given up on the crown contest and come crawling back home from Dana already. Nothing to say? Even though you were willing to kill Tarnigan to secure your position as Lord, you still... Kill?
I'm here to take care of something. If you wish to continue this conversation, I only ask that you wait until I'm finished.
Oh, of course. You always did prefer to take the coward's way out. Even after 7 years and living on that Danon rock, you haven't changed one bit. But let me tell you, I haven't changed either. Not a day's gone by the past 7 years that I haven't hated you.
If killing me will bring you peace, then so be it.
Dohalim, what the hell are you saying?
First, I have business to take care of. If it's vengeance you seek, I will grant you it. But you must wait. My sins are legion. Let me finish what I came to do. Then you have my word. I will let you do whatever brings you peace.
Sure, that's it. Run away like always. You don't even have the courage to die. No wonder you leave it to someone else. You're just a coward!
Red Woman. Kok ada di sini?
Dohalim.
I apologize that you had to witness that.
Is it true? What she said about you killing someone?
Each of us have our pasts. I am no exception.
Before, back in Menancia, you mentioned having taken a friend's life over the throne. Is that what she meant?
The mistakes I made there were not my first, and may not be my last. I will say no more.
Did you mean what you said? About letting her take your life if she wanted to?
She has more right to my life than anyone.
But you can't just...
Whatever happens, I have sworn to put an end to the crown contest, and to ensure continued coexistence in Menancia. I have no intention of expiring before I do so. There are far too many questions I still seek answers to. Besides, you have just as much reason to kill me as she does.
Dohalim!
Forgive me. Some things are best left unsaid.
Bisa ke bawah kan? Nggak bisa. Gue masih bingung dengan Red Woman ini. Kok bisa tiba-tiba muncul?
Tell me, Dohalim, has that skill of yours got a name?
And what skill would this be, pray tell?
You know, when you're talking to people around town. The way they suddenly become putty in your hands.
I'm afraid I don't quite follow.
I do. It's called friendly intimidation. Look imposing and speak in a deep, booming voice, and presto, you'll have people wrapped around your finger in no time.
I would never stoop to such scandalous tricks. Any feelings of intimidation are solely in the eye of the beholder.
So there is a knack to it! How do you learn it? Can anyone do it?
Now you've got me curious. Is there special training to master?
Let's see. An obsession with being elegant is a must. Oh, and it helps to be old-fashioned, too. Bonus points if you speak in a way no one can understand.
If you've a bone to pick with me, it'd be quicker to just come out and say it.
What? They look up to you, that's all. I'm just helping them along.
Hey! What's got into Alvin and Law all of a sudden?
I can barely understand a word they're saying. And what's with the weird poses? Was it something they ate?
I hope you're willing to take the blame for this one.
I wasn't expecting them to take me so seriously. I'll go and have a word with them.
Wow, this place is beautiful!
Yeah. It must be some sort of rest and leisure area for the locals.
You think? Man, these Renans sure know how to live it up, don't they?
Is something the matter, Dohalim?
Before I went down to Dana, my friends and I, we used to gather at this very spot and play music together.
Aduh.
Avakir, Faria, and Tarnigan. That was a lifetime ago now.
Tarnigan. He was the one that Faria mentioned, right?
He was once my dearest, closest friend. As well as Faria's betrothed. Despite Faria's lower-class upbringing, she possesses a tremendous talent for music. Entranced by her playing, I helped her overcome her sense of inferiority and introduced her to Tarnigan and Avakir. It was a time of great joy. 4 people bound only by their love of music, with no care for social standing. Only the next song, the next melody.
Oh iya, yang dia main itu ya.
A friendship based on mutual respect, and a society where everyone is a prisoner to their social class. You really are different, Dohalim.
I suppose it's natural you would see it as strange.
I would have, once. Now, I think the idea of breaking away from society's constraints and choosing your friends based solely on affection is something beautiful that's worth cherishing. Besides, it was that way of looking at the world that laid the foundations for coexistence in Menancia.
Your praise does me too great an honor. I was merely following the wishes of my own heart. And even then, it only lasted until the crown contest began. After that, Tarnigan and I became fierce competitors for the position of Lord. Tarnigan had fallen for Faria. By becoming Lord, he aimed to wrest her from her humble origins and raise her to the highest echelons of society. But fate was not so benevolent.
What happened?
Tarnigan was no match for me in combat. On a level playing field, he wouldn't have stood a chance. But he was desperate and low on options, and he couldn't stand the thought of defeat.
You mean he resorted to dirty tactics to try to win, right? But then why does Faria think... Wait, don't tell me she doesn't know.
Ya jelas lah nggak tahu.
How could I tell her? Combined with the trauma of losing her beloved, and by her friend's hand, no less, she would have been devastated.
So instead you let her go on hating you, so she could use that hate as a crutch for her grief?
That's not the same as running away, though.
It is exactly the same. Unable to face the loss of my friend and the burden of my duty, instead I decried my fate and looked away from what I'd done. As for what happened after, that you already know.
But if you hadn't become Lord, Menancia wouldn't be what it is now. The Danans there would still be suffering under Renan oppression like before.
Shion's right. What other lord would have treated me as you did? Anyone else and I would have been dead long ago. You've saved so many people, Dohalim. You saved me. It's thanks to you that I'm here today. So, try not to blame yourself. The burden you've placed on your own shoulders is too much for anyone to bear.
Frank as always. But I shall do my best to heed your advice.
Do you think he'll be all right?
Yeah, I think so. He's got Kisara.
It's important to have someone like that.
I didn't realize how difficult it is just to be there for someone.
Sometimes just knowing someone's on your side can be enough. And he knows, Shion. I promise he does.
I hope you're right.
Gila,
Alvin,
masih dimata-matain dong.
Yeah?
I never appreciated until recently just how much you were always there to support me.
It goes both ways. You've helped me keep going more times than I can count.
Maybe, but I still wanted to say thank you.
I see a medic and supply officer over there. If they know you're with me, they'll likely offer their assistance.
Gila, masih ada tuh yang lebih kuat lagi. Darkman. Alpen. Wow. Ini nggak ada yang lebih kuat. Gede amat. Assault Road. Darkman. Lucu sih modelnya. Aksesoris. Ya, aksesoris nggak ada yang baru. Wow. Keren.
Have you guys checked your equipment lately?
Tidur. Ya ada sushi tapi nggak bisa dibikin. Nggak ada tunanya. Tadi dapat resep apa ya? Fancy pamphlet. Cobain deh.
Easy peasy. I knew I could handle it. Hoodle, no, that's That's mine.
Never thought I'd see you fighting Hootle over food of all things. Normally, you share everything you have with him.
Yeah, but this is a fancy parfait. Every girl dreams of having one of these.
Is it really that big of a deal?
Please don't bring me into this.
It's always nice to eat something that fulfilling.
I can't believe I actually get to have it all for myself. Every little bite makes me so happy.
But isn't that parfait gonna cost you quite a lot more than your regular ice cream choice?
Mulai.
That's all the more reason for me to enjoy it. Everyone knows it takes lots and lots of sweets to stay full of energy.
Everybody, a cream monster has devoured Rinwell.
At times such as these, it would be best to just let her do as she wishes.
Yeah, definitely.
Dohalim's right. If someone's trying to enjoy their favorite food, just leave them to it and don't bother them.
Yep. Can't argue with that.
I don't get women.
So good.
Oke. Kita save dulu. Ada guardnya
Damn
loh.
it. Lenegis soldiers.
Any way we can avoid fighting them?
That all depends on them.
Gak usah lah.
Whatever happens,
Gas
be
lah.
ready.
Well, so much for them not wanting to fight.
Ho! I am Lord Dohalim of Elder Menentia. I command you.
The rest of the city must be erect.
No. Have they been brainwashed too?
Brainwashed or not, if they want to fight, they got one. Its armor's too strong.
Be my guest.
Armor won't save you.
My shield!
Demons descend! Flashing fang!
Those soldiers seem different from the citizens we've come across so far.
Yeah, they weren't big talkers, that's for sure. They just attacked without warning.
They weren't in the least bit fazed by Dohalim's presence either.
Indeed. They seem to recognize us as enemies, nothing more. And yet, traditionally, Lenegis hasn't been high on threats. A few frenzied Zeugles during experiments here and there, but not much else.
Their glazed-over eyes reminded me of the soldiers and slaves we met back in Ganath Harros. The ones in blind devotion to Volron.
I've never seen anything like that here on Lenegis before.
Maybe someone doesn't want us here, and the soldiers are their way of letting us know.
What with the Red Woman, the Sovereign, and Volron, we're starting to develop quite the growing list of adversaries. At least we'll know to keep our wits about us.
Oh. Bakal lawan itu ya.
No further!
Far beyond the darkest skies! I
Not today!
Ground and pound! Needless and brings us to it!
Rinwell! Demons descend! Flashing fang!
Whirling
trouble! Raging flame! Can't get out of this! The flame inside you! Too fast!
Stand back. I'll trip it up.
Raging flame!
Do it! I'll stop your movement!
And I'll stop your life!
Lady Fortune must truly be watching over me.
Get lost!
Oh, beda.
Raging flame!
I think, Kisara.
Raging flame!
I'll be safe here! now.
You see what happened there as you crossed me. Shouldn't have done that.
This way.
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw! Eat this!
The
Super swallow dance!
Lightning! Downfall! Dance immortal drop!
Super swallow dance!
Tough feet now.
All good things come to an end.
Oh, two-sided turnover!
Here, let nothing get
Eat
by
this!
me.
Super swallow dance!
More for the stockpile. Blah, blah, blah. Healing circle.
I'm on a roll now!
I'll be saving
That's
my flame.
Vanish without a trace!
Eat dirt!
Eagle assault! I'll finish you here now! Inferno thrust! Eat this! You're done! You see what happened there as you crossed me. Shouldn't have done that. Super swallow dance! I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
Lunar corruption.
A whirling struck! Look sharp! Lightning tiger blade!
Nice. No scratches on my shield or my armor.
Guys, gua perlu idol meeting dulu. Sebentar ya, gua tinggal dulu. AFK bentar. I'm back guys. Sorry. Yang itu nggak boleh ditahan, ya kan? Jadi penyakit nanti. Oke, kita lanjutin.
Can't get out of this!
Get toasty!
Bird strike!
Far beyond the
I'll finish you here and now! Raging flame!
Leave the ensnaring to me.
Yeah, and the pummeling to me! Burn in hell!
What's up?
The earth throbs with pain.
Now!
The armor won't save you! I'm on Howl!
Make it better! Frozen!
Hammer!
With this, I can become even stronger. Go no further!
I'm on it! Coming here!
Searing flame! I'll heal you all!
Ignite!
So much for talking it out.
You got spirit!
Searing flame! Searing flame!
Flaming meteor! I'll finish you here and now! Make it right! Demon's descent! Flashing fang! I'm just getting started!
A wailing banshee of lightning!
Everyone still in one piece?
Yep, I barely worked up a sweat.
Those soldiers don't seem to have any qualms about attacking on sight.
Is someone making them stand guard over the Forbidden Zone?
Seriously? Is this a joke?
Armor won't save you! Eat this! Raging flame!
I never miss!
I'll finish you here
As if
and
the
now!
normal creepy crawlies aren't disgusting enough.
What's this? Prepare to be sealed! Raging flame! Not today! Talon hurricane! Death blossom!
You see what happened there as you
Crossed me! Shouldn't have done that! Talon hurricane! Looks up! Burn! Inferno! Ready hurricane! Burn! Inferno! Burn! Inferno! Burn! I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw! I'm on it! Talon hurricane! How about this?
It was meant to
Come and get it! This one keeps charging us!
That's what my shield's for.
Now!
Get behind me!
Demon's descent! Flashing fang!
Don't get complacent.
Ke kanan dulu.
It's on!
A whirling
No
circle!
further!
Eat dirt!
I'm on
Wings
it!
of heaven!
Raging flame!
Searing flame!
You picked the wrong spot!
It's like trying to keep up with a wolf!
Raging flame!
I'll be
I'm on a roll now!
Radiant flame!
Raging flame! Talon hurricane! Watch it!
I'll stop your movement!
And I'll stop your life!
A
Too
whirling
slow!
circle!
Raging flame!
Wings of heaven! I'll stop them here! More for the night!
Raging flame! Talon hurricane! Now I'm in the groove! In a bind? Look sharp! I'm on here!
I'll be saving you!
This one's all mine!
How about this?
Raging flame!
Time to shine! Now!
There's always room for improvement.
Cuma level 3 batunya. Brightstone level 5. Oke. Level 2 doang. Yang jaga segitu banyak.
No backing down! Bring him down! Raging flame!
Lightning
What's
strike!
this?
Go get it!
It's
Slow down now!
get out of this! Come and get it! Raising flame! I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw! Too slow! Raising flame! Raising flame!
Now,
Xion!
get toasty!
Burn strike!
By the power of stars of light! Rain down and purify!
Ignite!
How about this? Now!
I'll stop your movement!
And I'll stop your life!
I've been doing really great lately.
Ini nggak mungkin lolos sih.
I won't forgive you! Not on my watch!
Piercing this! Raising flame!
Flaming meteor! You think that shield will save you?
One hit. One hit. Ya,
I'll shoot it!
gara-gara down.
It was nice while it lasted. Ready and rare! These fists have got your name on them! First strike! Blazing flame! Talon hurricane!
Do it!
Xion!
Get toasty!
Burn strike!
The waters are
Inferno punch! I'm just waiting to go! Can't get out of this!
By the power of flame!
Raising!
Finish without a trace!
Don't get complacent.
This must be it. The entrance to the Forbidden Zone.
But it's just a wall. How do we get through?
Whoa, we? I thought this was Sovereign's only...
So fresh dong. Crash.
Alphen,
Yes! It opened!
Interesting. If Alphen's presence still opens the way, it would seem the Sovereign of 3 centuries ago and now are considered one and the same.
what?
What the?
Astral Land tadi. Ingatannya.
You again.
Tomorrow's the spirit channeling ceremony. We'll finally play our parts as the Sovereign and Maiden. How have you been feeling?
What am I sovereign of? Shuffled from lab to lab, always treated like an experiment. Whenever they look at me, all they see is a Danon. I don't even know what their precious ceremony's for. Let alone what they're going to force me to do as the Sovereign. Tell me, if we're both in the same boat, why do you seem so calm right now?
No choice. Becoming the Maiden's not something I wanted for myself. But they said Rena's prosperity depended on it. How could I say no after that?
Still, as a Renan, at least you got to decide. Good for you. Meanwhile, I was taken from my homeland. You aren't the captive one here.
It isn't right what they did to you, and I'm sorry for what it's worth. When
Thanks,
this is
Boy
over,
Gaming.
I swear I'll help you get home.
Thanks for the super chat.
I can't do this alone. One more day.
How could I say no to that? It's not like I have any choice in the matter anyway. So, what's your name?
It's Naori. Naori Imaris. Try to remember this time.
You don't act like them. Like the other Renans, I mean. How come you treat me like a person?
Because you are. It's true we come from different worlds. But neither one of us asked to be here right now. In that sense, you and I are much the same. We couldn't do this. We wouldn't be able to talk to each other as people if we didn't see the humanity in each other. So I suppose the
Jadi,
question you should be
Maiden itu
asking is,
sebetulnya
why wouldn't I treat you like one?
bukan diangkat juga ya,
You're not like the others.
tapi nggak pinggan juga sebenarnya.
Maybe they're not like me.
Here's what we'll do. We give them their damn ceremony. You get me to Dana. That'll be the end of it. I'm taking you at your word on this. I'm trusting you, not them. Naori.
Mirip banget sama Sion. It looks like the same.
What the hell just happened?
That vision. Did everyone else see it too?
That person Alvin was speaking to, she looked exactly like Shion.
It was Naori. Naori Imaris. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that's right.
She really does look like Shion. I'm beginning to see why Alvin was so confused.
That's all very well and fine, but what did we just witness exactly? It was too real to be a mere hallucination.
It was a
Kayaknya
conversation
yang-
we had 300 years
Yang
ago.
kemarin pada dilihat
The night before
semuanya
the
itu
ceremony.
kayaknya sama deh
You
sama
mean
yang
all of
ini.
that really happened?
Jadi
We
pas,
just saw an
pas
episode straight out of your
cahayanya itu
past?
keluar, jadi pada
But how
bisa
is that even
melihat semua,
possible?
ngedengar semua gitu.
Unless, could this be the Red Woman's handiwork too?
No, I don't think so.
Why not?
You guys didn't feel it? The moment the entrance opened, it was like a stream of Danon astral energy rushing over us.
I felt it too. And not for the first time either. It was the same
Nah kan
sensation as
Inside the
back
Witch
inside the wedge.
yang kemarin,
That
bener.
would make sense. After all, vast amounts of Dana's astral energy were being siphoned and sent up here to Lenegis. For all we know, perhaps we're close to the spot where all that energy was stored.
So you think it might have been the energy itself that was responsible for that vision we just saw? But how?
Berarti kalau
And why?
vision yang bisa dilihat
We have no way
kayak
of
gini,
knowing.
berarti ada kemungkinan
Maybe it's not even as
di
deliberate
dalam
as all
ada
that.
ini, kayak yang jaga astral energinya
Shion,
itu,
you okay?
yang dipanen.
Yeah. It was all just a little sudden. That's all. So that was my ancestor, huh? It was like looking into a mirror.
Yeah, there certainly is a resemblance.
What about you? How are you holding up?
Me?
Even putting aside the question of where that vision came from, it's likely we'll see more of those. Reliving painful episodes from your past. Do you think you can handle it?
I can't just pretend like the past never happened. Besides, if it helps us uncover the truth of what that ceremony really was, it might also lead to answers about your thorns.
Alphen.
That's not all. This whole time, we've been fighting to free Dana from the Renans. But now that we're here, it seems those same Renans might have it just as bad. I'd like to liberate them
Iya,
too if I
keadaannya nggak ada
can.
bedanya yang
Which is just
dari
another reason I
bawah
can't afford to shield my eyes
di
from the
dalam
truth.
sama.
Whether you're on Dana or somewhere else, you always stay the same. Your indignation and righteous passion, your desire to free and protect, they're all hardwired into you. Not that I'm complaining. Come on, let's bust this thing wide open.
Nobody's here.
Stay sharp. After that last illusion,
boss.
there's no telling what could happen in here.
Oke. Gue penasaran yang dibilang Savaris itu siapa gitu loh.
Faria, how did you get in here?
Wait, something about her isn't right.
What's wrong with her? She doesn't even seem to know where she is.
Yeah, you're right. She looks just like the soldiers we encountered outside.
Halo Boy Gaming, welcome. Thanks loh super chatnya. Oke, bentuk baru lagi
A
bosnya.
summoning?
But that's preposterous.
Oh,
She never had
Subaru.
that kind of power.
Thank you,
We can
thank you.
talk later. Here it comes.
Udah episode 10 nih.
I've never known
yeah.
Faria to control Zugos like that before.
How about with a stone that looks suspiciously like a master sword?
Where did she get her hands on that?
First we handle the Zugos, then we get some answers.
Can't get out of this!
You picked the wrong
Apa tuh weakness ya? Like kayaknya. Power break. Let's go. Yoi. Kalau sudah lawan bos begini rasanya.
I'll stop your movement!
And I'll stop your life!
This one's mine! Tiger Blade!
Armor won't save you! Eat this! Tiger Blade!
No, no.
These sticks have got your name on them! I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
Oh, thunder. Oh,
Pull myself together!
I'll run you through!
Lunar Arc!
This one's mine!
What's this?
I can do this all day!
kemarin diskon game ini.
Enemies on the road!
Kayaknya diskonnya udah habis ya.
It's time to end this battle!
Oh,
Smash you!
Glacial Fire!
All good things come to an end.
Here's a healing arc!
Switch to offense!
Feel!
Take this! All good things come to an end.
This is a hurricane strike! Super swallow dance!
Watch this!
Healing arc! Blazing flame! Glacial fire! I'm on a roll!
Astral energy!
Say no more.
nice. Ya dibilang ada lagi. Soalnya ada red
Now it's just
lady-nya.
her! Faria, can you hear me? Faria!
She's preparing another summoning!
The art she's casting is way too powerful to control. At this rate, her body won't be able to take much more.
Tuh, bisa dihancurin.
Forgive me.
Loh, core-nya? Berarti bisa direplikat.
Man, I thought we were goners.
Everything okay?
Yes. She's only unconscious.
Not her. I meant you.
Shion, please. Can you treat her?
I can try, but I can't promise she'll be back to her real self when she wakes up. All I can do is heal her physically.
We're not even supposed to be in here. Maybe it'd be better if we moved her to somewhere a little safer. Don't you think?
In that case,
I'll take her off your hands.
You?
Siapa?
Avakir.
Oh, yang
What are
tadi,
you doing here?
yang dari tadi
I
ngikutin
was
kita.
curious what you were up to, so I took the liberty of following you to find out. I overheard what you said about Tarnigan, about how he really died. I'm sorry, I had no idea.
And you believed me? What makes you so sure I wasn't lying?
I like to think I know you a little better than that, Dohalim. Give me some credit. I'll take Faria. Leave her with me. I know better than to ask what you're up to. But whatever it is, I hope it all works out.
Thank you.
Yang ku takutin tuh yang si kacamata ini jahat juga.
He seems like a good friend.
He hasn't changed. He never was one to stand out. Instead, he was always hanging back, worrying about everyone else. As for Faria, it's always the closest to me who get hurt.
You don't seriously blame yourself for what happened to her, do you?
Somebody got to her, to strike back at me. Someone who knew me well enough to know that I'd hesitate to fight back. And the same goes for you as well. Neither you nor Faria would have lost loved ones if it wasn't for me.
You're wrong. Kelzelik was the one who killed my brother, under orders from Almadria. As for Tarnigan,
Iya, si
if it
Kelzalik
weren't for the
banget ya.
crown
Habis dia
contest,
kabur
he'd
kan
still
dia
be
nggak pernah
alive.
kelihatan lagi kan.
That and the whole damn hierarchy that makes it possible. But that's why we're fighting. To put an end to this whole messed up system that treats people as expendable.
Indeed. Ridding society of this blight is really the only way I know how to atone for my sins.
You can't atone, Dohalim. I know it hurts to hear, but those people are dead. No amount of soul-searching or trying to make amends is going to change that. Forgiveness, acceptance, those ships have sailed.
So I just forget the harm I caused?
No, the opposite, in fact. You remember. You never forget. You keep it in your heart always. And then you go on living. Not for those already passed, but for those still alive.
For those still alive.
Kisara's right. So long as we've still got breath in our bodies, we can make a difference in the lives of others. Lives being the operative word.
That's what living's all about. Being able to still make a difference. Punishing yourself for the past won't make the pain of your conscience go away.
Only fixing the problem in its stead. Is that what you're saying?
That's right. You have to live for tomorrow, Dohalim, not for yesterday. And not only that, you need to live for yourself, and for the change that you still can be.
I shall try.
Don't forget, we've still got a mystery to solve. The Forbidden Zone, remember?
Shion.
Huh?
Thank you. You have my deepest gratitude for what you did for Faria.
Glad to be of service.
I'm glad we could stop Faria without hurting her.
You all did much
Call
for
him
her as
Nicole.
well. I'm most grateful.
Oh, shucks. We're on the same... What is it, Rinwell?
Kenapa
Do you
dengar
hear
lagi?
something again?
Yeah. It's that voice.
The will of Dana's astral energy.
Lagi. Oh, ruangannya si Alpen pas itu.
What? There's so much astral energy. But where's it all coming from? It's almost like it's alive.
Bukan Thorn cuy. Ada monster. Wait. Wait. Berarti Thorn itu kayak nyimpan monster di dalamnya. Terus
That was the spirit channeling ceremony just now. No, it was more than that.
What the hell was that? It felt like everything was on the brink of... Like the whole world was seconds from...
Oblivion. It's the same vision as the one my thorns show me.
Itu.
A vision of impenetrable darkness that swallows up us and everything else.
An empty void. A nothing so complete and dominating that there aren't even words to describe it. The end of time.
The visions of the apocalypse you've been seeing. If I'd known how bad they were,
So, everything we just saw, those were Naori's memories, right?
That's right. It was as if her innermost thoughts were speaking directly to us. At least I know they weren't mine.
That power flowing into her, it reminds me of Shion's thorns. If they're what's responsible for all these visions she's been having, then maybe...
Maybe my thorns are made from that same astral energy?
Yes. Karena sama-sama dark kan.
If that is the case, we just found the missing link between your thorns and what happened here 3 centuries ago. No, more than a link. Perhaps even the very heart of the matter.
I've never felt astral energy so powerful. What was that?
If it's the same energy your thorns are made of, it must be dark astral energy, right? And isn't that something only Renans have?
Correct. Dark astral energy is possessed by Renans alone.
And when enough astral energy gathers together, it develops its own form of sentience. If so, maybe that complete oblivion is exactly what the Renan astral energy's will is wishing for. But why?
I don't know. Will can be a pretty vague thing to nail down. It's more of a feeling, just like the will of Dana.
But the will of Dana is made up of astral energy too, right? And if that's what's been showing us these visions... I don't know, should we really be getting so involved with this thing?
Dana's will would never want oblivion.
But you can't say that for sure!
Cut it out, you two. Squabbling over theories will get us nowhere.
Yes.
Let's keep moving.
Ya benar, Sion. Cek ke
If
depan
it's
lah.
Dana's will showing us these memories, then I'm as clueless about its motives as any one of us. But if it could lead us to the truth, then I want to find out more.
Cek ke depan. Nanti pasti ada jawabannya
Shion's right.
lagi. Karena
All we
kan
can
dari
do is
awal
keep going.
yang sebelum masuk ke ruangan
These
sini
really
juga
are
udah
Naori's
dikasih
memories
tahu
we're
kan.
watching. There could be truths in them I was never aware of.
Ada astral
And I
energy
think
juga kan.
they may be the kinds of truths I need to confront if we're going to keep fighting.
I'm sorry about what I said earlier. Come on, let's go.
Okay, let's go.
Finally, we begin to understand what the thorns are.
Yes, and their source. A ceremony that occurred 3 centuries ago.
But we still don't know how to get rid of them. I just hope we can find a way.
Pertanyaannya juga ini tempat apa sebetulnya?
We might very well learn the truth behind Shion's thorns. As well as my own past, I have to be ready to face anything. whatever happens.
The only word is forward. Okay, not turn back.
I'm determined to save Shion and Dana. Nothing I learn can change that. Hold up, you guys.
What is it?
I want to
Oh.
look through that room over there.
Ruangan yang
Curious what we'll
diingatannya
find.
si ini.
That's the room you visited in your past, right?
Yep.
Sure. We can check it out. This looks like some kind of research facility.
A laboratory secreted away in the Forbidden Zone. Why am I past being surprised at this point?
Looks pretty deserted.
Let's check it out. It might give us a new lead.
Jangan di sini di tempat apa? Tempat soft rest di ini.
I think I can make this work.
Well, can you make head or tail of it?
These are experiment records by the looks of it. Reams of them, dating back hundreds of years. Let's see. A composite being capable of controlling Danon astral energy so as to convert its molecular and elemental makeup. The creation of a governing central figure taking the form of a Danon. Codename Sovereign.
Sovereign.
Wait, there's more. Research into utilizing force field crystals for the purpose of stable astral energy containment. That must be the master course.
Jadi
With
master
all this
core
raw
sendiri
data,
dibikin.
there's bound to be records here somewhere about the Maiden and the Lords, too.
About the Lords? Why would they be on there?
Think about it. The Lord's crests are clearly of a piece with those of both the Sovereign and the Maiden. Not to mention the fact that the contenders to the crown are selected from otherwise regular Renin citizens. In other words, it may be that all Renins are unwittingly being made subject to some kind of grand scheme.
What about the Sovereign? Does it say anything else?
Where do I start? All I've read so far is the headlines. There's so much here. To sift through all of it would require specialized... Wait,
What is it? Did you find something?
it's a list of names, with the title Test Subjects, Sovereign.
Sovereigns.
It's your call.
Read it.
There must be dozens of test subjects listed here. Hundreds even. All of them failures. Wait, I think I've found one that was successful. Test subject number 1273. Ethnicity, NA. Unique adjustment index, generation, NA. Given name,
Alpha.
Alphen.
Gak heran sih.
They
Gak usah kaget dong.
re-engineered me. Right here in this lab.
Alphen.
It's fine, really. What about the others? Was I the only one?
Test subject number 10105. Ethnicity, NA. Unique adjustment index, generation, NA. Given name, Volron.
Volran juga.
Volran?
But that means...
He's only sovereign because someone made him that way too.
He's the last one. In 3 centuries worth of records, you and Volron are the only 2 subjects on whom the experiment was a success.
Gila, dari berapa puluh ribu yang sukses cuma 2.
But what about the winners of the crown contests? Does this mean that none of them were ever crowned sovereign after all?
Upon victory, the Sovereign shall return to Rena and rule over Rena and Lenegis combined. When a new Sovereign is decided, the outgoing monarch shall relinquish their post, and live out the rest of their days on Rena. So we were told. But according to these records, there have only ever been 2 sovereigns, neither of whom had anything to do with the crown contest.
Berarti crown contest ini buat
It's all
TN
lies,
doang.
including the part about the sovereign residing in Rena.
Yep.
The crown contest was never about deciding a new ruler. It must always have been devised for some other purpose.
Wah, parah sih.
But even supposing that's true, someone must have been in charge for the past 3 centuries, right? If it wasn't the Sovereign, then who was it?
Crown contests have been held this whole time, in spite of the fact that there was already a sovereign. Me. Meaning that for the past 300 years, someone out there has to have been maintaining that lie. The same person I'm willing to bet is behind all this.
The Red Woman?
Yes, siapa lagi?
It's possible. But that doesn't necessarily mean she's the mastermind behind this scheme. She could be working for someone else. Someone back on the Renan homeworld.
Either way, it's fair to say she's definitely involved somehow.
Masih ada mastermind-nya lagi, berarti
What
masih ada
about the data
tuannya.
records? Is there no other information that could help us?
Not that I can see. Just file upon file of experiment results. There's nothing here about who's behind all this, or what their endgame is, unfortunately.
Iya loh,
I've
masih
barely managed
masih
to scratch
abu-abu
the
loh.
surface, mind
Software
you.
ini buat apa
You
mereka
won't be able
bikin?
to read through it all, but you're welcome to take a look through what you can, while we're here.
I'll do that.
Software ini apa?
So this is where Alphen became the Sovereign, and Volron as well. The significance of this location would suggest...
Hey, it looks like the terminals in here turned on too.
We should look through them. They might contain valuable information.
Nggak ada apa-apa. Ini apa? Lenegis. Nggak paham. Exit. Ini apa? Oh, masnya nih. Device covering mirror wall. The mask that is developed today to specific prisoner. Medical application also recognized from sustaining mental trauma. Whatever. Oh, berarti betul topengnya itu dipakein ke ini biar apa? Healing traumanya. Brainwash. Unlike enslave. Use any special power, track of special device. I have done with share government given this method. Oh, yang itu ya, yang punya si Polran ya. Brainwashing berarti benar. Cuci otak. No. Polran. Nggak ada yang penting. Master Core 5 elemen, ya kan? Tapi ternyata kan ada Master Core yang 2 kan, Spirit Core, Astral Energy, Beam Support, Drain Spirit Vessel Energy di collect. Oh, ini Spirit Core itu yang bulat gedenya itu. Master Core kan yang bulat kecilnya yang dipegang. No effect alternate method. Maiden Level 2 authorized and ID crash. Rena subject server function conflict operator and the astral it like them with the Rena's Alma. As a conversion maintaining stability suppress on power. Oh, Maiden itu untuk ngeluarin powernya Sovereign jatuhnya. Oke, paham. Tapi kenapa ada Thorn ya? Aku masih penasaran sama yang itu. Ini apa? Gak bisa. Ini apa? Gak bisa. Gak bisa juga. Ini ruangannya yang pas itu kan. Live battle. Iya, gue lupa beli live battle. Gak apa-apa deh, terlanjur. Lanjut. Wah, ada lagi astral energy. Nah, nih topengnya pas dipakein.
Naori, I...
Don't talk. I have to do this. I gave you my word that I'd help you return to Dana. The next time you open your eyes, you'll be home.
But you...
My place is here with my people. I still have a duty to fulfill. I'm sorry for what you've endured. Rena never should have dragged you into this. It's not your burden to bear.
But...
The mask contains a sedative. It should keep your mind from tearing itself apart any further. Let yourself go to sleep. This should help with the pain. Time to go, Elfin. Farewell.
Sebelum ingatannya Alpen ini kan. Sebelum ingatannya Alpen menghilang.
His injuries are worse than I thought.
Welcome.
Short-term treatment isn't going to cut it. I'll have to switch the healing pod to long-term hibernation mode.
Super chat pertama diberikan oleh Boy Gaming.
The chance of surviving hibernation's less than 10%?
Tapi membershipnya belum kebuka, bingung juga gua.
Carries a high risk of damaging his mind and nervous system. But if I don't head back, Lenegis will be nothing but ashes, and this starship along with it.
Oh, ini berarti sebelum dia berangkat ya? Masih kayak siap-siap.
Fulfill my promise to you, Alfin. But if doing this will grant you even the slightest chance, I have to try. I hope it's enough.
Oh, jadi pesawatnya di autopilot, terus dia pergi.
Live for me, Alfin.
I see.
That vision. It must have been from when Naori helped Alfin escape Lenegis.
She sure went above and beyond the call of duty.
Even with Lenegis crumbling down around her, she chose to stay put with her people.
So that's why you lost your memories
Oh iya,
and
Mak,
sense of
Diablo
pain,
nggak main.
and why you were asleep for that whole time. It was all the result of one
Makong,
agonizing
masih ada
decision
nggak?
Naori made to save your life.
Numpang mampir aja kayaknya Makong.
Yeah. If it weren't for her, I wouldn't even be alive today. I owe her everything. More than I could ever hope to repay.
Now that you know how she felt, how do you plan on honoring her wishes?
She kept her promise.
Oh, ada kok. Mak.
If the Renan people she fought
Masih
so
di situ kah?
desperately to protect are at risk from a malevolent
Diablo
force, then
Immortal
I owe
main
it to
tak?
her to carry on her fight.
Kalau
Naori was
kalau
the one who
misalnya
put that
main
mask
nanti,
on me.
kalau misalnya ada
Made me
co-opnya gitu,
Iron Mask.
coba collab yuk.
She did it to prevent your soul from tearing itself apart.
Kalau main, kalau enggak ya
She knew you
nggak
might
apa-apa
lose
sih.
your memories and sense of pain as a result. But more than anything, she wanted you to survive.
Dan
And you
ruangannya
did.
kok mencurigakan. Nah, kanan kiri ada itemnya, ambil dulu. Heavy trade. Lah, ini apa? Ini kayaknya jalan nanti deh, jalan keluarnya. Oke, kita save dulu di sini. Pintunya mencurigakan soalnya.
This place. We've
Oh.
seen this in one of Naori's memories.
Iya, ini tempatnya itu. Pas summon.
After 300 years, this is where it was held. The spirit channeling ceremony. This is where the Renis Alma was.
Yep.
So this is the place where you and Naori...
The Renis Alma isn't here now. Nor is the Red Woman, it seems.
I know it's difficult, Alphen, but there will be time to dwell on the past later. For now, we need to keep moving. Come on.
Masih dicoba dong. Channelingnya dicoba tanpa Renas Alma.
Naori.
What is this? Is it the work of Dana's will again?
It's been a year since the ceremony. That day, I shut away inside of myself the power that caused Alphen to lose control. Since then, my visions of the future have grown more and more fearsome.
Is this another memory? No, it's different this time. It's like she's speaking directly to us.
Atau jangan-jangan spiritnya dia lagi.
What we did back then. Not so much as a day passes when I don't think about it. About what was done to us. All in the name of a ceremony. The purpose of which we were never even told. As Sovereign, they linked Elfin's consciousness to Lenegis itself. The Renis Alma was intended to control his power, lest anything should slip through its cracks.
Makanya nggak ingat
That day,
apa-apa.
as
Jadi
maiden, my
betul jadi
role
kayak
was to
kerasukan
temper his
gitu.
power. I was meant to guide it forth and give shape to the strength
Berarti
inside of him.
Renas Alma sendiri itu kayaknya ada sesuatu.
Linked to Lenegis itself? But then, everything that's been happening.
But that power showed me a vision. A vision of oblivion. When I realized that vision was a prophecy of the apocalypse we were about to unleash, I couldn't go through with it. But without a
Sama kayak
maiden, the
Sion.
ceremony was doomed. Alphen lashed out, his consciousness no longer his own. I did what I could. Using my abilities as the maiden, I tried to seal that power away inside of me. But it was too late. Lenegis had already been brought to its knees. Thousands upon thousands of lives so cruelly snuffed out. All because of me. Because of what I had done. With the destructive force now slumbering inside of me, I knew I had to find a way to dispose of it. Anything to make up for my failure. But I didn't know how.
Wah, kayaknya ini asal mulanya Thorn deh.
Especially since that power was astral energy itself. In which case, ironically enough, the Renis Alma seemed to be my best bet. That at least would hold the astral energy dormant. Assuming that no malevolent third party got to it first. With the Sovereign and Maiden's combined power, perhaps I could shift the chaotic energy inside me into the Renis Alma instead.
Serius?
That's what I hoped, but
Oh,
alas, it was not to be.
Cuma
The
harapan.
Renis Alma was lost, and Alphen the Sovereign was in a starship bound for Dana. My only choice was to seal away the destructive force inside of me using my powers as the Maiden, to buy the world what little time I could. The time needed for a new Renis Alma to be crafted, and for a new Sovereign to appear. Even if by doing so, it meant I would be passing the curse onto my descendants as well.
Oh, bener. Thornya dari dia.
Please, forgive me. I never meant to burden the future world with this threat too. I only wish that there was something more I could have done.
Wait, you can't just...
Makanya ada Thorn. Thorn itu buat nge-seal ternyata.
Naori.
That message just now, was it directly from Naori? Or was it the Danon voice speaking through her?
Bajunya berubah dong.
What?
These are the clothes that Naori and I wore during the ceremony 3 centuries ago.
So you're saying this is the Maiden's outfit?
That's right. These clothes are designed to resonate with the Sovereign and Maiden's abilities. They focus and enhance them.
And they appeared now because...
Naori must have left them here for the new Sovereign and Maiden, knowing the day would come when they would need them in their fight against the Thorns.
Oh.
These outfits are directly linked to the answers we've been chasing
Bukan
this
hidup
whole
lagi.
time.
Jadi yang
If they're
ceweknya itu
It must mean it was Naori's
ninggalin
will for us to find
sesuatu di
those
sini.
answers as well.
Jadi kalau misalnya Maiden sama
Locating the Renis
Sovereignnya
Alma
balik,
would allow us to neutralize the
bajunya
dark
langsung
astral energy inside
ini langsung
Shion,
kepake
thereby
gitu
silencing her thorns.
buat ngebantu.
Is that what Naori's suggesting?
Jadi
It makes sense.
Sion
After all,
ini
master cores and spirit
kayak
vessels are
apa ya?
both
Kayak
able to prevent
keturunannya
the
gitu.
astral energy inside
Karena
them
kan
from
tadi dia
developing
bilang kan,
sentience.
aku minta maaf
By
gitu,
that logic,
untuk
it would stand to
keturunanku.
reason that the Renis Alma would have the same ability on a
Jadi
larger
dia
scale.
nge-seal Thorn itu dari dia yang
We
bikin
have a Maiden and Sovereign.
ternyata. Buat
Now
nge-seal
all we need is
powernya
the
yang
Renis Alma.
di
We'll
Maiden.
finally be able to
Biar
free
nggak
you of
keluar
your
nggak jadi
thorns.
Oblivion.
Shion.
It's possible? You really think so?
I do. We can rid you of your thorns and stop the world from falling to oblivion.
However, the spirit channeling
Nah, jadi
ceremony already
kayaknya sih
failed
bakal
once.
dilawan. Jadi
Even if our
nanti
goal is
Thornya
different
kan
this
mau
time,
dihilangin.
we can't be sure
Kalau
the
Thornya
same thing
hilang
won't
berarti
happen
bisa
again.
keluar dong
We should take
Oblivionnya.
care not to be too optimistic.
Jadi
You're
ambil
right.
resiko gitu
It's the
lah.
barest sliver of a chance. But if there's even a
Masalahnya
slightest hope it can
butuh
work,
Renas
I'm willing to
Alma.
stake everything I've got on
Rena
it.
Salmanya sama cewek baju merah itu.
I know it's too early to let myself feel relieved, but I just can't seem to help it. Just hearing there's the slightest chance, even though I know the world's still in great peril. It's selfish of me, I know, but still.
No, it isn't. You found hope to believe in. It'd be strange if you weren't over the moon about it.
Rinwell's right. We can rid you of your curse and still save the world at the same time.
Syaratnya harus menang.
Thank you.
Kalau nggak menang ya
Naori
nggak selamat
entrusted us with
dunianya.
the fate of all humanity. Now, it's up to us to prove that trust was well placed.
Starting with a little game called Hunt the Renis Alma.
Yeah, we've come all this way. Now we just need to search Lenegis and Rena until we find it.
Yeah, we can protect the world and save Shion at the same time.
Balik ke
I
tujuan
too shall lend
awal,
my
nyari
services.
Rena
My
Salma.
knowledge of Renan lore is bound to be a useful asset.
And they say modesty is dead.
Miracles just seem to follow wherever you go, huh?
How do you know it's me they're following? We're all in this together, Shion. You included. Now let's get moving, shall we? Last I heard, we had an apocalypse to stop.
Ada lagi nggak yang
Thank you,
ditinggal?
Naori.
Nggak ada. Berarti yang ditinggalin sama Neori cuma baju doang ya.
So Naori sealed away the power that made me lose control of myself. She stopped my rampage and saved my life. But then, that power she'd sealed away was passed down to you.
Nah ya
I'm
kan,
so
betul
sorry,
kan?
Shion.
Nggak salah.
It's my fault that
Konklusi
you're
gue.
cursed.
You're wrong. What happened to you was because of the ceremony and Naori's attempt to stop Oblivion. You paid a heavy price for it, and then fell asleep for 300 years. The reason you lost your memories.
Is the reason for your curse.
The thorns.
Yep.
It all leads back to them. But once they're gone, we can finally put an end to all this.
When my thorns are gone, I never dared to dream that such a thing could be possible. No, the truth is, I think maybe I've always been dreaming about a life without my thorns. The touch of my family, or playing with my friends, holding hands with Rinwell, or giving Law a deserved smack, embracing everyone.
Cita-cita
All the
macam
normal
apa itu? Pengen nampar
that
lawa.
people do together. I always wished I could experience them for myself and finally know what they were like. Is it really okay for me to believe it can happen? I'm so scared of getting my hopes up. What if it doesn't work out in the end, and...
That's not going to happen. I'm here to make sure it won't. Forget fate or destiny or anything else. We're going to live a normal life. There are a lot of things you still want to do, right?
Yeah, you're right. It's such a strange feeling. I know that we've still got plenty of fighting up ahead, and it's for my sake, so I can live.
You're worth fighting for.
I believe you, Alphen.
Good. I'll keep on fighting. For as long as it takes. Until our future is finally in our hands.
Wih. Surprise. Oh, Light Maiden. Sion. Advance Healing Arte Restore All Alias. Wow. 10.000 ya kan, ambil semua, nggak usah mikir. Ini 2.000 bisa 2. Low sudah semua. Oke, udah semua deh. Ini belum kebuka nih, gue belum ada mancing. Nanti aja lah. Sodail Atalis, Gam Atalis, Alepia Quiz, Weapon, Outfit. Straw Hat. Gam Atalis, oke. Weapon Skin. Sodail ini ya. Bener kok udah. Shield yang nggak ada ya weaponnya. Weaponnya ganti deh. Aneh banget Sion pakai yang itu gede banget. Ini ya. Mana yang belum? Ke atas. Wah. Wah, curiga nih bos nih.
That's quite some door, all right. This might finally be it. The heart of the beast.
We'll find the Renis Alma and the Red Woman inside, right?
Semoga. Kalau nggak ketemu,
After everything
tanda
we've been
tanya.
through to get here, they damn well better be.
We'll probably be needing you to open this one for us, Sovereign.
Go for it, Alphen.
Bukannya pakai crash berarti. Crash of Range. Berubah warna dong.
This is it, guys. Time to see what secrets are in store.
Gue belum save loh. Udah main masuk aja mereka. Oh, ini ada tempat healnya. Oke, kita save dulu. Wih, posenya berubah. Asik.
Volron! He really was still alive.
And there's the Renis Alma. Then, is this another spirit channeling ceremony?
Wait, though. Something doesn't seem right here.
Once more, the powers must be united. Born from the fires of chaos, the world does seek its rightful state.
Kayak di
All
brainwash
must be
ya.
sacrificed in the heart of
Forannya.
Rena, at the shrine of the true sovereign.
What has happened to him? He's lost himself. Reduced to a mere cog in the machine.
Hey, look! Over there!
Isn't that the Maiden's crest?
Can it be that this entire chamber is meant to act as a substitute for the Maiden?
It looks like it's still running, but are we already too late to stop the ceremony?
If that's what caused Lenegis' transformation, then the purpose of the ceremony must have been to drain all the astral energy out of Dana.
But for what purpose? What could possibly need astral energy on that sort of scale?
I don't know. But whatever it is, I'll bet it's connected to those visions of oblivion. Regardless, we cannot stand by and let them steal Dana's energy. That said, we should retrieve the Renis Alma. Because right now, we need that most of all.
Itu loh, tinggal ambil di depan. Tinggal maju, tinggal ambil.
He's not gonna lunge at us out of nowhere, right?
Not the time, Law.
Alphen, look!
The Red Woman! So we finally found you. I have a lot of questions for you.
Wait!
What?
They all have the same face?
Banyak.
How is that even possible?
What?
What is this?
Who the hell are they?
It can't be. Are they even people?
It's hard to know for sure, but I think they're the true rulers of Rena.
Berarti red dress itu cuma wujud ininya aja. Nyamar doang.
It's no use, Alphen. If we don't fight, we may as well be sitting just here.
Good point. Let's stop them before this gets out of hand.
That freaking does it!
On guard! Gemini Aqua!
Blazing flame!
I'm
champion!
flame! Finish without a trace!
Too slow!
I'm
on it! I'm on a roll! No further!
All good things come to an end. I never miss! How about this? I'm going to use all the power
Cakramnya ngeselin dah.
Crash you!
I'll be saving this one! The waters of creation take flight! This one's mine!
Sudah dong, cakramnya dikeluarin. Apa tuh? Apa tuh? Waduh.
You picked the wrong fight.
Blazing flame!
Mantap. Kita
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
Here's a between heaven and earth.
What's this?
A wailing dancing
Awesome!
Reload!
Nah, gue salah target.
Ready and rare! Burn! Blazing flame!
Asli ini cakram ngeselin amat.
Take this! Oh, too shy to come over! Here, let me... I'll finish you here and now! Inferno! This one's all mine! Easter!
Hurricane violation! Lightning strike! A wind explosion! Oh, sparkling stars of light! Here, let me help! First aid!
Patternnya ketahuan banget. Kena banget ngindarin deh.
In a bind? I'm on it! I'll save you! I'm on it!
A whirling struggle!
I'll finish you here and now!
Here, let me help! On guard!
I owe you one for that!
I'll be saving this one!
Talon Hurricane Strike! Now the cricket does it!
Will this help?
Blazing Flame!
I never miss!
Now I'm in the groove! Infernal Blade inside me! Sure!
Make it rain! Don't leave! This one's got your name on it!
Action to action!
Will this help? Arctic
Habis?
waterfall!
Surrender! Fighting is useless now!
Do you think it's really over?
Itu Rena Salmani ya diambil dulu dong.
Astral energy. Watch out! They've got something up their sleeve!
What? It's self-destructed?
Alvin!
I'm okay. Just a little roughed up.
You had me worried there.
Gitu dong, ambil dulu. Malah sibuk berantem.
Who said you could touch that?
Hah? Polrannya sadar dong.
Damn it! He's awake!
I should have thought as much. So you know this place? Naturally. It was built for me, after all. We'll save that for another time. More pressing is how I'm going to tear you apart. Even after all this time, you still insist on hating me? You cut me down. Sovereign or not, you will pay for that.
You're obviously bluffing. You can't even move right now.
Really, is that what you think? Did you really think that such a petty device could hold me?
Are you going to claim it's because you're a ruler? Be it sovereigns or lords. In the end, they're all titles given by someone else.
Plus, what kind of ruler would spend all his time chasing Alf, who happens to be another sovereign?
Idle prattle. I proved my worth and the Sovereign's powers were granted to me.
Were they really? We already know the title of Sovereign doesn't denote royalty. It is but an overblown codename for those with a designated part to play in these proceedings. You mentioned before that you were not the only one stolen from Dana, correct?
Yeah. There were countless. And every one of them besides me died.
All of those failed experiments, and they still kept going back to Dana. There must have been some vital reason their subject had to specifically be a Danan. Then there were the records we found in the library, for you and Volron.
Oh, Volron juga
They
Danan
were
ya?
locked 300 years apart, and yet the data they took from you was exactly the same. Which leads us to a single conclusion.
Then you mean Voron was kidnapped just like Alphen? But then he became a...
A slave from Dana. Just like us. Isn't that right, Voron?
So he posed as a Renan and caused all that suffering to his own people?
How could you? If you knew the pain of being a slave, why would you inflict that upon others?
Renan and Dana are meaningless distinctions. Me and everyone else. That is all that matters. I will stand above all others and take what is rightfully mine, starting with this.
Lah,
A red woman?
Another one?
Give your master back on Rena this message. No one makes a fool of me. Let them know I'll make them suffer.
Don't do it!
Rena Salmanya bawa kabur lagi kan.
Serenus Alma!
Dodol si Alpen nggak diambil duluan.
Too late. Can't stay here.
We need to go. Alphen!
Loncat. Baru udah nyampe. Oh nyampe. Keren nggak nyampe.
Go. But know I will be your shadow no matter where you try to run.
Santai banget sih full run-nya ya.
Let's go.
Yakin banget dia bakal selamat.
Never forget, I am the one who devours everything, who answers to neither spirit nor man. My word is law. I am.
Boom.
Are you two okay?
Yeah. We'll be fine.
Masa nggak meninggoy?
Is Volron... Have we finally seen the last of him?
We can but hope.
Those red women. What the heck was their deal?
Could they be the ones behind all this?
Kayaknya memang
The
ada
same ones who
tuannya
put
lagi
those
deh.
soldiers in
Karena kan
Faria
tadi
in a
si
trance?
Volran ngomong kan. Kasih
What,
tahu
those
rulernya.
brainless things? Either way,
Berarti
they've
si
done a runner
Volrannya
with the
tahu
Renaissance.
kalau ada yang ngendaliin lagi
Damn it,
di
that's the
atasnya.
second time now.
Tapi nggak
Whatever's
pernah
stolen from
ngomong.
us, we'll steal it back. The future's ours to protect. And right now, those things are what's standing in our way. We can head them off at Rena.
Did you say Rena?
Volron mentioned a master of theirs holed up in the motherland somewhere.
Yep.
If that monstrous form's their true identity, I shudder to think who they take orders from.
Yeah. There's a good chance it's not human. That's for sure.
So this thing over on Rena, that's what's really behind all this, huh?
They have the Renasalma in their grasp already, so it's unlikely they'll have cause to return to Dana. I agree that Rena's our best shot.
Then we're agreed. Let's head back to the starship.
Terbang lagi berarti dari Starship.
But seriously, I was not expecting Voron to actually be here.
He seemed to care not one whit about Renans or Danon.
Berarti dari Starship bakal terbang ke ini lagi, ke planet yang satunya. Kan ada dua arah tuh, yang satu ke Dana, ke satunya yang planet yang di atasnya tuh. Kayaknya bakal ke situ sih. Gak ada jalan pintas apa? Langsung lah, nggak bisa fast travel dong. Disuruh jalan kaki, geng. Kayaknya ada cutscene deh ntar di jalan. Go, 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 go. Renas Alma. Lagian si Alpen aneh-aneh aja. Antara ngambil Renas Almanya dulu ya kan, baru berantem. Keburu dibawa pergi lagi Renas Almanya. Bentar, berarti kan lawan Kroco lagi dong gua lewat sini. Oh enggak, Kroconya hilang udah. Kirain bakal ngelawan. Kan betul kan, ngelawan lagi dong. Ya udah deh. Mana mau.
I'm just getting started. Blazing flame! Too fast!
Stand back. I'll trip it up. Fear, throbbing pain.
Rain down and purify all! Searing
I'm on it.
Reload!
Blazing flame!
Lunar
I'll run you
corruption!
through.
Meteor!
I'll take you all on. Ha! Flare the Malisa! Against my full
Belok kanan. Gue lupa jalan.
you didn't stand a chance.
Nggak hafal jalan lebih tepatnya. Oh tapi cuma yang di situ doang, sebagian udah hilang. Ini bisa dihindarin lah ya. Biar nggak kebanyakan battle.
We seem to have
Putar sini nggak bisa, tetap kena.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Blazing flame!
Throbbing pain.
Looks I never miss!
Take this! Blazing flame!
Make it ready! This one's got your name on it!
Action to action.
Blazing flame!
Leave the ensnaring to me.
Yeah! And pummeling to me!
This one's mine!
You're wide open! Eat this! Piss on!
Hurricane's divine savior!
I've been doing really great lately.
Apa? Gue curiga ya nanti ya begitu pas yang ke planet ke satunya nih. Kayaknya bakal kayak ada lord gitu juga deh. Kayak di Dana. Jadi harus ngalahin berapa lord gitu.
What the? When did it get pitch dark all of a sudden?
The lights are all out. Think it has something to do with the explosion back in the Forbidden Zone?
Joe?
You two. Faria, Avakir. Thank goodness you're safe.
Avakir filled me in about everything. About how I ambushed you all.
She doesn't remember a thing, so she really was being controlled.
He told me about Tarnigan, too. Is it true?
What difference does it make?
Oh, berarti
What's done is
didengarin
done.
juga obrolan
Stop
yang
casting me off, just for once!
Faria, not now. It can wait. Dohalim, Lenegis is in grave peril.
So I can see.
It's the city's core reactor. It's damaged. Some of the basic systems we've managed to keep online, but complete restoration's still a way off.
You're an elite
gara-gara
technician,
ledakan
though.
tadi ya.
You can fix it, right?
If so, then what's the problem?
Panic's begun to set in among the citizens. Until now, whenever something like this happened, the Sovereign would issue a decree. But this time, not so much as a peep. Any longer and we run the risk of riots breaking out before we can get things back up and running.
Forget the Sovereign. I doubt you'll be hearing from him anytime soon.
What's that supposed to mean? Do you know something I don't?
Suffice it to say, the Sovereign isn't the kind of ruler we thought he was. That is, if he ever even existed, which is looking doubtful at this stage.
Are you out of your mind? Why, if people knew that a lord such as yourself was whispering such blasphemy, they'd...
There's no time to explain now. It sounds like we need to find a way to keep Lenegis from spiraling out of control.
We need to stop that riot.
But how do we do that?
Riots feed on discontent and unrest, right? So if we want to keep the peace, we just need to put people's minds at ease.
At ease? Like by letting them hear directly from someone they trust.
Dohalim.
That's it.
Siapa lagi?
Who's the highest-ranking person in Lenegis right now?
Lenegis wouldn't have a next in line. After all, you said the Sovereign rules over everyone directly, right?
Correct. The closest thing to an authority figure would be a lord. And the only one left is... Ah. Very well then.
Mau diangkat Lord? Enggak dong, dia dong.
Avakir, you mentioned a few facilities were still online. Which ones?
Dia dong yang ngomongin.
Why hasn't the Sovereign said anything?
Please, won't somebody explain what's going on?
Is it over? What's going to happen to all of us?
Nah kan Dohalim.
It is I, Lord Dohalim Ilkaris of Eldaman and Sia.
Look, up there! It's Lord Dohalim!
Hold on! He should be in the crown contest! Shouldn't he? Why isn't the Sovereign talking to us?
The Sovereign is seeing to other matters right now. In my capacity as Lord, I speak to you in his stead. You're afraid. As people so often are when faced with the unknown. I hope you'll allow me to put your fears to rest. The city's core reactor has experienced a malfunction. However, we have our top engineers attending to the matter, and things will soon be back to normal. I know that you feel abandoned, perhaps more scared and alone than ever before. But I ask you all to keep one thing in mind. You are Lenegis.
Pinter ya si Dohalim buat nenangin ininya ya, keluarganya.
Is the mortar that holds it together. If we don't allow ourselves to be distracted by our differences, if we put our hearts and minds together and stand as one, I am confident we will find new hope. I would be honored to stand with you. Not as a person of loftier rank, but as another human being among many. I hope that you'll lend me your strength, for if we can persevere as one, I know a bright tomorrow awaits.
Dibaikin dong powernya langsung, nice-nya. Smart. Kalau nggak gitu pada panik
Your
semua
speech
terus
seems to
kan.
have done the trick. Looks like the city won't be descending into chaos after all.
I only pray the relief will tide the city over for the time being.
What you said earlier, about the Sovereign possibly not even existing, was it true?
Ya, Sovereignnya ada.
It's still too premature to say with any certainty.
Ini kayaknya yang ditanyain
But I
Sovereign
believe so.
yang mimpin
This whole
kota ini
time,
kali ya.
this
Padahal
world
kan
we've
memang
been fed
bohong
was a
kan,
lie.
nggak ada sama sekali yang mimpin
Built on
kota.
nothing but falsehoods.
But it can't all have been...
I can believe it. After everything I saw in the Forbidden Zone, what they did to Faria, it's the only explanation that makes sense.
But what about hierarchy, Avakir? Authority? The very foundations of Renan society? How can we live without someone to guide us?
I'd say we found someone capable of doing just that, wouldn't you?
You? You can't be serious.
Mau diangkat.
I have business I must take care of first. But once everything is over, I shall return. But not as your sovereign, nor as a leader the likes of which the people here are used to, I think.
But how else do you propose to rule?
I'm not sure yet. All I have is a feeling that here in Lenegis, a new dawn is on the verge of breaking. One in which people won't be judged by birthright or on the power of their astral arts, but on other things. More important things. Things like, oh, I don't know, musical talent, for example.
When I bumped into you after all those years, I said you were no different. But I was wrong. Truth is, you were always different. I feel like maybe now I can finally begin to accept Turnigan's death. To see a future.
Sampai sekarang berarti belum diceritain ya kalau temennya itu maksa banget.
Thank you.
Makanya dia nggak ada pilihan untuk membunuh.
I guess you're not going to make it to Menancia for the foreseeable future, huh?
Indeed. Forgive me.
The people of Elda Menancia can look after themselves just fine. It's the ones here on Lenegis who need someone to guide them. Besides, with you leading the people here, it'll help spread the idea of coexistence beyond Menancia's borders that much faster.
Sounds like you're in it for the long haul.
How could I not be, after the second chance that I've been granted? From this day forth, I shall dedicate myself to the future inhabitants of this world. Though the memories of the departed shall remain forever in my heart.
Remember, you're going to be leading the people here, not ruling them.
True enough.
Di Renan
Whatever
kan
would I
juga,
do without you,
di Renan, di Danon juga dia kan gini
With or
juga
without her, I
mimpinnya.
suspect you're
Dia
gonna have
harusnya
your
nggak
hands
perlu
full
cemas
when the
dong.
time comes. We should be heading back to the ship. Business on Rena awaits.
Cuman yang gue bingung ya, kalau misalnya dia nanti bakal mimpin di sini, berarti yang di Danan ditinggal dong. Woi, controller gua mate, bentar. Oke, kelamaan gak dipencet. Story-nya panjang banget soalnya. Oke. Bisa diambil semua lah ya. Cukup kok.
Looks like the people of Lenegis can rest easy.
I couldn't have done it with...
Oke, masih nggak bisa fast travel.
Without your words of encouragement, Law.
Hey, you're the one who made the speech.
I think everybody.
Wait.
share the
Weapon.
credit here.
Kalau nggak salah udah bisa bikin weapon. Yo. Nah, bener kan? History nggak butuh. Radio strength, udah kan? Oh enggak, turun di. Oh, weaponnya. Oh.
Have you guys checked?
Oke. Ntar, weapon outfitnya nggak usah pakai. Remove-nya gimana? Oke.
Your equipment lately?
Ntar, karena bajunya bagus ya kan, kita pakai Sion. Mana Sion? Asik. Ini tinggal lurus belok kanan. Gue kok pirasat nggak enak kayak sama pesawatnya ya. Kayak bakal dibajak atau gimana gitu. dekat bintang yang di ujung. Oke. Jauh banget jalannya. Pokoknya kalau nggak bisa fast travel kayak gini biasanya ada cutscene nih. There it is. Sekali lagi. Belok kanan, tinggal lurus. Oh, ada kok masih. Gue kira bakal dimalingin nggak atau gimana gitu. Starship Lenegis.
I thought we'd find answers on Lenegis, but we just ended up finding more questions.
You can say that again. And now we have more problems to fix too. Like figuring out how to reform Lenegis.
That can wait for now. We've got more than enough on our plates to deal with as it is. Like figuring out who's really running the show on Rena.
Yeah. Which is why we're going to the Renan homeworld.
All the answers we've been looking for are on that planet. The person responsible for all this. The Red Woman. And the Renis Alma. The answers have to be there. Are we prepared to finally find them?
So, what do we do first when we get there?
We know nothing about the Renan homeworld or what we might face once we arrive. We should get a feel for how things are on the ground before we take any serious steps.
It's also entirely possible that the first thing we're going to face is an attack.
If we come across a capital, we should...
Kenapa?
What?
Kan, firasat gua nggak enak kan, betul. Lah, terus gak bisa kereta dong? Lah.
Damn!
Tapi nggak mati.
The hell just happened?
Our course has been altered. The coordinates are pointing to a different destination.
What's that?
The ship's controls aren't accepting my commands. The engine is being shut down.
Lah.
That's bad, right?
Quite bad. We've lost control of the ship.
Is all of this the Red Women's doing?
Are they trying to finish us off before we can land?
Everyone! Look there!
Apa? What? Lihat apa? Lah. lagi. Arena bukan planet berarti.
A flower blooming out of Rena?
But that flower looks like it's absorbing all of Dana's energy.
And it appears Lenegis is serving as a conduit for that energy to reach here. Could that have been its true purpose all along?
If that's true, do you think the people back on Lenegis are all right?
We can only pray that they are.
Lenegis harusnya nggak apa-apa sih. Yang masalahnya di dananya ini.
Haven't they taken enough already? When is this going to end?
The flower of oblivion.
With everything that's happening, we need to get back to Lenegis. Is the ship still offline?
Unfortunately, yes. Even more so than when it lay dormant.
Can you fix it?
Starships are extremely complex machines. One wrong move while we're out here in space could very well cost us our lives.
So what? We're just stuck inside here, floating around? For how long?
I don't believe this. We've made it all this way, and now we're stuck here? We're watching Dana die before our eyes, and we have no choice but to sit here and starve to death?
Law, calm down! You're not the only one who's worried here.
Right. Sorry.
It's still too early to give up. There has to be a way to get out of this.
Alphen.
Apa lagi?
The starship, it's back online?
No, this is different. Something is pulling our ship in towards it.
Jangan bilang bajak laut. Bajak laut. Apa? Bajak luar angkasa. Kayak model apa? Guardian of the Galaxy. Tempat apa lagi nih? Mau kemana? Jatuhnya kemana? Sudah kayak Tomb Raider ini game.
We managed to get moving, but where are we?
It looks like Lenegis in here.
Do you think we might run into more Renans here? Or those red women?
Perhaps. Someone brought us here. The question is, who?
We haven't been ambushed, so that probably means they aren't hostile. Still, why would anyone want to bring us here?
Hey, Shion!
Shion main jalan-jalan aja.
If they wanted to attack us, they could have done so while we were back on the starship. We should see where this path takes us.
Gak salah sih. Kalau mau diserang dari tadi. Soalnya kan juga ini kan tempatnya gede kan, kayak model mothership gitu. Gak salah sih Sion. Tujuannya mau kemana gitu kan, malah jadi kesini. Parah sih. Udah teman-teman, jadi live streamingnya sampai sini dulu. Ini nggak tahu di mana ini. Tadinya kita mau ke Rena kan.
Are you just going to keep standing around or
Gara-gara
what?
Red Woman tadi, jadi malah kesini dah. Atau jadi nanti kita lanjutin lagi besok paling ya. Kayak biasa ya, siang ya, jam 1 jam 2 gitu mulainya. Ya lanjutin. By the way, thank you tadi Boy Gaming ya, udah kasih super chat, makasih banyak. Yang mampir ada Valkyrie Prastria, thank you. Makong tadi Cigaming Room, itu channel temen gua. Untuk yang temen-temen yang suka main game HP atau mungkin main Roblox, bisa cek ke channelnya dia. Dan sekali lagi buat Boy Gaming, thank you juga udah mampir ya, udah ngasih super chat. Jadi live streamingnya untuk ceritanya kita lanjutin lagi besok. Makasih teman-teman yang udah ngasih like, yang udah nge-share juga. ataupun yang cuma ngepick. Makasih banyak. Sampai jumpa di live streaming besok. Bye bye.